There we go.
Okay, I got
All right.
my mic's on.
Okay.
You want me to start it? It's time. You gonna start it? There's more chairs
Okay.
over here.
It is 6:30. We will call the meeting of the Hartland Village Board to order. I will be taking roll call. Trustee DeBoer. Here. Trustee Trutchell.
Here.
Trustee Pfeiffer is absent. President Fannerstill is absent. Trustee Walschlager.
Here.
Trustee Connor.
Here.
And Trustee Hallquist is absent this evening. In the president's absence, is there a motion for a chair pro tem?
I'll make a motion for Ann Walschlager to be
Second.
pro temp.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Trustee Connor.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next on the agenda is a swearing in of Police Officer Taylor Weiss. Is it Weiss? Weiss. Do the fire department first? Okay, we'll do the fire department first. We'll start with Bryan Thomas, firefighter, paramedic. Chief? Are you gonna go? Well, he's got it. Did you want to say something first?
No, go ahead. Yeah, okay, first.
You want to stand right here? Raise your right hand. I, Bryan Thomas,
I, Bryan Thomas,
having been appointed to the position of firefighter paramedic
having been appointed to the position of firefighter paramedic
with the Village of Hartland Fire Department,
with the Village of Hartland Fire Department,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Hartland,
the Charter, laws, and ordinance of the Village of Hartland,
the rules and regulations of the Hartland Fire Department,
the rules and regulations of the Hartland Fire Department,
that I will obey all of the lawful orders of my superior officers,
that I will obey all the lawful orders of the superiors of my that I obey all the lawful orders of my superior officers,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brian's sister.
I'm working really hard. They poke you
A little bit.
We have Band-Aids.
just a little bit.
Paramedic.
You'll be fine.
Congratulations. If you'd like to say anything, you can.
No, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity.
So it's Bryan Thomas. He's a firefighter paramedic. He was with the Village of Merton Fire Department, and he will remain with the Village of Merton Fire Department. But now he's full-time with us. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay. Griffin Casper. Got your copy?
Yep.
Okay, raise your right hand. I, Griffin Casper,
I, Griffin Casper,
having been appointed to the position of firefighter EMT
having been appointed to the position of firefighter EMT
with the Village of Hartland Fire Department,
with the Village of Hartland Fire Department,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Hartland,
the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Hartland,
the rules and regulations of the Hartland Fire Department,
the rules and regulations of the Hartland Fire Department,
that I will obey all of the lawful orders of my superior officers,
that I will obey all of the lawful orders of my superior officers,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
and will faithfully discharge the duties of my position
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Griffin's girlfriend, Michaela, will be pinning him. So Griffin's a firefighter EMT at this time. He's in paramedic school right now. So hopefully he'll be a paramedic by June. And he's also United States Air Force crew chief for the air refueling group down in Milwaukee. Thank you. Welcome aboard.
No.
Taylor, Weiss. Nobody wants to pin you.
Yeah.
Okay. Raise your right hand. I, Taylor Weiss,
I, Taylor Weiss,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and comply with the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support and comply with the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Hartland,
the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Hartland,
the rules and regulations of the Hartland Police Department,
the rules and regulations of the Hartland Police Department,
and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
of my office as police officer
of my office as police officer
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
It's not as easy as it looks. A room full of people. Watching it. Taylor, who's joining you from your family today?
So my dad, brother, and mom, and then my boyfriend Paul, and a couple friends from
Awesome.
Greenfield.
Well, welcome. Thank you all for supporting Taylor. Taylor joins us with over 5 years of experience with both Waukesha and Milwaukee County law enforcement. We're super excited to have her, both as a part of the Hartland Police Department and the Village of Hartland family. If there's anything you'd like to say to the group, you're welcome to do so. If not, we are going to have some light refreshments just downstairs in the community center, so everyone's free to join all the firefighters and police officer that was sworn in today for a little bit of getting to know each other and a little celebration for this day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Pretty flowers, wow. Aren't those beautiful? I'm over here. Yeah.
Cookies in and went over it.
Good support. It's really cool.
Yeah. Have fun. Yeah. I'll wait till this group gets out. Okay, we'll get on with the meeting. First on our agenda is consideration of village board minutes. Oh, sorry, back up. Public comments. If anyone in here would like to say anything in public comments, please step to the mic. Okay. Do we have anyone on Zoom? Are you? Okay. All right, next, consideration of village board minutes of January 8th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the village board minutes of January 8th, 2024.
I'll second.
Okay, we have the motion and the second. Any comments? Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. All right, next is consideration of vouchers for payment in the amount of $158,131.78.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers for payment of $158,131.78.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes. And if I'm going too fast, just holler. Okay. Next is actions related to licenses and permits. Consideration of an operator bartender's license for Aaron Whitfield.
I'll make a motion to approve the bartender's operation license for Aaron Whitfield.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. All right. Next, conceptual review of public art plan by Arrowhead High School students in the Hartland BID. If you want to step up to the microphone so they can get you recorded. State your name and then, what? Oh, okay, state your name first.
My name is Kristen Smith. I'm the Executive Director of the Downtown Hartland Business Improvement District. I'm here with Steve Berger. He is the president, and also 3 students from Arrowhead. They will introduce themselves shortly. We are here to talk to you about some downtown art installations. The BID has been thinking as a whole, what can we do to invigorate the downtown Hartland area as a community? And this is something that we partner with Arrowhead High School on, and I'm hoping that you guys find it interesting. So public art is something that you see popping up all over the place. It's appealing for a variety of reasons. Number one, it's public, so everybody has access, all ages, all groups. It enriches physical environments and it brings streetscapes to life. It's a great tool for civic engagement and also for building social capital. It will create professional opportunities for artists and also cultivate an environment for the creative class in Hartland. It gives a sense of community, identity, and pride. It'll make Hartland a place that people want to live and a place that people want to visit. Public art has been proven to positively impact your mood as something you see when you go by. It supports cultural tourism and economic development. There was a study done by Showfields that shows that 40% of people under the age of 33 select trips based on their Instagrammability. So something that you want to take pictures of or something you want to take pictures with. It draws people in and makes them want to explore the village. The end goal for this project, this is the kickoff, but the end goal would be to have it be essentially a public art tour. There would be several things throughout the village, not necessarily just reserved to downtown, but this would be just kind of the kickoff for it. And then it could be something where we would make a pamphlet and you go to Nixon Park and you see something on the bridge and, you know, just things in different places. Locally, Waukesha, I know everybody remembers the guitars, but they actually have a walking guide of 21 different public art installations and murals that you can do. Milwaukee also has a very large art walk, and theirs is much bigger. Oconomowoc has the Wizard of Oz and murals. Menominee Falls has a downtown mural tour as well. So it's something that's definitely catching on, and I would like Hartland to be a part of it. So when you listen to the students, I ask that you listen with an open mind and an open heart, and they've worked very hard on this, and I think they're very excited to potentially have something that will last for generations that they can leave as an impact on Hartland. So without further ado, I will let the kids take over.
Would you like the model be stood in like the front row?
Yeah, do you guys have a preference where it's right
You
here?
can, wherever it's easier for you to lean it up.
Against the chairs would be fine.
Sure. I'm Pac Davis. I'm a junior at Arrowhead.
I'm Matt Schmeeding. I'm a senior at Arrowhead.
I'm Nicole Boudreau. I am also a senior at Arrowhead.
Sure. All right. So we went through a couple different variations and ideations of what we're presenting before you today, and this is what we got the most positive feedback from the bid from, and this is the one that we liked the most as well. So this is obviously stands for Hartland. And while we are aware that you are trying to eliminate the use of the heart from the logo, we would like to suggest that this is more of like an artistic piece and less kind of a branding for the town. So I'll get into the details of this design. So each letter is about 4 feet high and a little over 3 feet long. When they are produced, the L, N, and D will be produced out of brushed stainless steel, and which can be, I think it's 2 more slides over, which would give a lighting effect like that with LEDs shown on them. And then the heart would be produced out of steel, but it would be given a powder coat red painting, just to give it a nice vibrant pop and contrast to everything else around it. Each letter will be 8 to 12 inches in depth. It's still something that's kind of being decided just for purpose of manufacturing. But each letter will, the slide before this one, will be put, sure, while we're on this slide. So this is what it would, this is scaling I did of just what it would look like next to just kind of a generic person. Which, I mean, you can see obviously right here, but it also gives a better representation right there. So for actually mounting these in the ground, which is obviously very important, we're just proposing a concrete bed be laid and then 4 simple bolting mounts in each letter.
And then these signs will be manufactured by Warhawk Manufacturing at Arrowhead, which is a student-run business. Once these designs get approved and they're ready to be produced, they will take over the fabrication with the welding and the grinding. We believe that this design is best because it has a very large social media presence, especially there's no color on these right now, but eventually, once they are produced, the contrast of the colors will stand out and it'll be something that'll draw people in, especially when looking to, whether it has a social media presence, as we have discussed, or there's drawing people downtown will be one of the main aspects of the design that'll be important. So the following slides also outline some of the production will be by Warhawk Manufacturing, and then the next slide outlines a little bit of our preliminary estimates on all of the different materials and work that the students of Warhawk Manufacturing will go through to get these fabricated if the design is approved.
Is all that done at the school?
Mm-hmm. So Arrowhead North Campus will have all the supplies and tools needed to cut and weld all the signs to these dimensions from the stainless steel. And they'll be able to do that all up at North, so right down the road. And then that is all we have for the design. If you have,
if you could switch over to my laptop and the HDMI cable.
So what we did is the bid. We went to the high school, went to the engineering and design area, in design and manufacturing, and kind of opened it up as a contest. We went to the design classrooms. They had two classes. We had like 32 different submissions. And then we whittled those down to 2 or 3 that we liked, and then we took them back to the bid board, and we opened it up for discussion with the bid board. Something that we would like to do, not only now but going forward, is we have a tremendous, vibrant community at Arrowhead High School. And we, as the bid, don't do very much with them. And this, we thought, was an answer to get them into our fold and help us with some of these things. Now, we can do this with a sculpture, but then there's other things that we can do. We can get into that process of helping us with different things that the high school students will be able to do for us. We're really excited about this project, obviously, and now that I filled up enough time, I can kick it back.
You can't hear me on the mic, but this is just
We can bring a mic over to you, is that one? We really need you to be on the recording. Is it on?
No. Oh, yep. Okay, awesome. All right, so what I have here on the screen is a 3D model representation of what this would look like completed. So it shows the red powder-coated heart as well as the stainless steel reflection of the LN and D, just kind of give you a better look that's not made of sheet wood. So, I mean, yeah, this is just what it's what it's going to look like if this design goes through.
So what we're looking for today is, conceptually, are you guys excited about this process? We
need you on the mic.
We kind of whittled it down to this design, but we'd like to do some different things within the village to draw people down. So I guess before we got into manufacturing and did all kinds of things with site prep and all that, we obviously wanted to come to the village board, get an idea of, are you excited about this? What do you think? I know the kids have put a lot of time into it. We've spent a lot of time going over to the school, talking to them about what we're thinking and all these type of things of design. I can tell you right now, when I did a tour of the design and manufacturing at the school, you get blown away. I mean, I just didn't understand, you know, from my days of industrial arts, you know, we made a...
I'm sorry. We're kind of laughing with you.
Well, good, because, you know, we were excited when we made a planter digger, you know. These guys are doing all kinds of things that just are amazing. And again, I think we have a great resource over there we'd like to tap into. So, again, we're looking for a consensus that, yeah, we're on board with this. Now we can go to the second step, which is site locations and then that process. We're trying to wrap this up within a year's schooling. So the next step would be that process.
Okay.
So I just wanted to touch on the sites quick before the students do. Obviously, in this meeting, we don't expect to get approval for any type of site location. This is more to give you an idea of where we were thinking of potentially putting them. I already spoke to Dave briefly about it. We would be coordinating with the DPW, and then we would also have to go in front of the, which board is it? Architectural Committee. So the site is not really something that we're looking to decide in this meeting, but just we've identified a couple potential sites that we like.
And just so you know, we don't decide anything here tonight.
Okay.
It's just conceptual for you to present it. We're not voting on anything.
Okay, perfect. So I'll give it back to the students, but.
Okay, so the first option is Site 1. A benefit of this site is the letters would be curved to mimic the curve of the road, and we think this would make it dynamic and interesting. However, it is a bit difficult to take pictures because of the busy road. There's a safety concern and there's a light pole in the way. Site 2. We think this is the best site for taking pictures. You can stand back and get the whole sculpture in frame and still be safe. However, there are power lines we have to look into this a little bit further. Then site 3, we do not think this would be the best site. There are power lines and signs in the way. It's difficult to take pictures. There's not a lot of space between the sculpture area and the road, and so safety is also a concern here. So we ultimately believe site 2 is the best.
In looking at it, I like site 2. It seems to be a good spot for it. Have you measured out that there truly is enough space there on that corner?
So what has been brought to our attention is the tree is going down. The tree is dead and it's going to be
Evergreen
replaced.
tree?
On site 2.
Site 2.
I believe is getting
Christmas
a new
tree?
It's coming down?
The arborist says it has about 2 years left of it.
Oh,
So we're thinking if we can maybe tag team with that change, putting a new tree up, we can get that site designed that way.
But you guys
And
did
I don't
vote.
know exactly how that's gonna be.
All three.
Again, we're just here to see, conceptually, do we have enough nodding heads that say, hey, this thing makes sense, versus, I don't know, that way we can go forward.
as far as the design, I know that we've tried to move Hartland, Wisconsin away from the Hart logo of any kind. And one reason I know is because, people see Hartland and they right away think it's H-E-A-R-T. And as you can tell, we took it out of here. It used to be right behind us. Well, that's the old one. And that's what we don't want anymore.
It's kind of a nod, though, is like.
But that's what we're trying to get away from.
Right.
Is there any chance of revamping this somehow, that without the heart? Or some kind of maybe?
We did have some other designs. There was one design where it was kind of a vertical stack with an HLD, but kind of the general consensus between me and the students and some of the board members was that it kind of looks like hold then, like you really kind of need the T, like HLD isn't really heart, it is, but you have to be really creative with your thinking on it. The idea with the heart is that if it's your wedding, if it's prom, if you're on a date, if you're it's going to be something that you want to take a picture with. So the whole kickoff to this project, our thought is that we want to have something that's very Instagrammable, something that you want to take a picture with. So if it's your prom, if you're getting married, having a big red heart standing next to that, taking a picture with that. I think of like the love sculptures and that are all over the place. When I was in Philly, there was a big heart in the park. Everyone's taking pictures with it. So we don't want it to be that we're trying to brand Hartland with it necessarily. It's more of kind of an emoji type of pop culture heart rather than being.
Then why wouldn't you work off the heart itself without the LND and maybe do some other graphic stuff with the heart?
That was something that Ryan Bailey had actually talked about. And the site for that one, if we're just doing a heart, he talked about doing across from Palmer's where there's the little on the bridge. That would be a really cool location for that.
I just think that this being the size it is, I assume that is the height.
This is a.
That's
that's a
to bring somebody in and take pictures. You're saying like prom, you usually have like 6 people or more together, or a wedding. There's not enough room in any of those 3 spots to really do that and make it look good with this being as big as it is, and then your group of people, you can't really stand back far enough. And I don't think that third one, isn't that on private property?
We have permission from Clinks.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we talked to Clinks
Okay.
about that, and they gave us permission.
They did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as my opinion goes, I really liked it when I saw it, and having the heart in there, even though Hartland isn't spelled H-E-A, I like the look of it, so I really like what you're presenting. Were you looking at, if for an example, site 2 is chosen, or whichever site is ultimately chosen, are you looking to duplicate this in a park, for an example, in another location?
No, we would have, so the whole idea was for us to, again, go back to the high school and challenge them for the next rendition.
Right.
We had 32 of them. They had some really cool ones. They had feeding off of the Ice Age Trail. so they had a big woolly mammoth, and it was kind of put together.
Got it. Okay,
You know,
so-
like bones, and they had, they just had a lot of really cool stuff. It was very difficult for us to narrow this down, and I will agree with Trustee Walschlager that the heart is trying to go away. It's a great thing for weddings that people go down there. If we're friends, we stand next to the heart, we get a picture taken. You know, we're buddies. We've been friends for, you know, it's just, plus it gives us that really bright red that pops out. So when people are driving by, you get that look. So, not that we're against getting rid of the heart and whatever. We're not. We just don't think we don't want to tie those two together. We're not a logoing. We're more of a.
Right.
We
I
were
think it's
aware
just
that
coincidental that
we were
you're in
aware that the
Hartland.
heart would be
Yeah,
a bit
I
of
mean-
an obstacle, but for the first one in particular, I really wanted to make sure that it was something very generic and kind of universally appealing, something that's not Ice Age specific. Like you said, there was a lot of really good ideas, but
Yeah.
I wanted something that was just like this one's Heartland. And then the idea would be to do more, to do a mural, you know, that the mural on Clinks, I don't know if you saw on
Yes.
social media, everyone went crazy for it. And that is kind of how it all started, that we're like, well, if people love this that much, we should start doing stuff like that in Heartland to make it more interesting. Because truthfully, we have a very low vacancy rate, but it's a lot of service type businesses. So how do we bring more people downtown to see what we have, to go to the restaurants, to see what's going on? And it's by bringing other things downtown that people find interesting and social media worthy.
Could you maybe, I mean, I'd like to see a couple more options to locate it. These three, especially 1 and 2, are at the busiest, worst intersections possible. And I don't want to have somebody looking at this red heart that all of a sudden is in their eyes when you're at a 1, 2, what is that, 4-way stop? Or there's not even a 4.
Three.
Hill Street, and then you've got Cottonwood, Cottonwood that comes up, Capitol and North.
Yeah.
So that's 4 there.
And we kind of think it's the opposite. We think it'd be a great spot for it, because people will see it and they'll go, wow, we should
The only
get
thing
it.
with the second location, it's a stop sign.
Yes.
So
Yep.
it's not like. you're-
Again,
you-
we're more looking for, is this conceptually something that you guys are interested in?
I'm all for it. I think the more we can bring down, modernize downtown, I mean, I'm all about wanting to revitalize, and we're gonna do some other things, but I think that's a great idea to bring it down. It's modern, it's eye-popping. I think once it gets going, I think the news stations are gonna come down and look at it and say, wow, look at what they're doing, it's really cool. Like I said, I'm not keen on the heart with Heartland, but taking the coincidental, our village is called Heartland, just that, I think is a cool concept. I mean, the red, it pops, and you're right, the red with the silver is gonna be really eye-standing.
Yeah, and we looked at, it's gonna be brushed.
Rough stainless steel.
Thank
Right.
you. So if we had lights onto it,
Well, that's the thing, with the lights and everything, that's.
it's just gonna give it a
And
really
that's at Main
cool
and Main,
feel.
to be honest with you. It's at Main and Main.
Say that again?
It's at Main and Main.
Yeah, right.
Right, so I
Right,
mean, that's what I kind of think, I like the first
Yeah.
one is at
Like I said,
the intersection of Main and Main.
we would, the site locations, we're talking about the
Right.
tree. I'm sorry.
If the
that
tree's going down, then I guess we could.
That we didn't, that you
could-
guys didn't know that, but we
need a bigger
caught
tree.
wind of that, and we're like, okay, maybe we can, do this thing all together. If we're gonna take that down, we can move and.
Right, we can relocate.
Relocate.
Arrowhead would really like us to get the design approved so that the current senior class can manufacture this piece. We understand it will not, the timeline won't work for it to be installed by the end of this school year, but they would at least like to be able to manufacture it this school year. So I don't know what it's going to take to get just the design itself approved. They can manufacture it, and then we can work with the DPW and the village on if they are redoing that corner, if we can somehow make this a part of it. I think that would, to me, I think that's the best location for it. But if the area is being revamped anyway with a new tree, then I think it could be, we can make it something really cool.
My assumption is you're not gonna make any voting because you don't have enough.
No, we
She said
have
no.
enough. It's
Oh.
just on the agenda, it's just a review for you to
Correct,
present
conceptually.
it. There's no votes to be taken.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think we could discuss it at the next board meeting,
Yes.
and then we'd be
It's
able to.
kinda what we thought, we'd have
you
2 or
know.
3 stops to see.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, right?
think
I
it's a
really
good
do.
idea, too.
And when
Yeah.
you're taking a look at the creativity of what the manufacturing segment does over at Arrowhead, I've been through it a number of times. I've worked with the manufacturing group of students over there. It's phenomenal. It's a great way to connect with the bid. And if this is, if we're not duplicating this and it is creativity of different pieces of art throughout the village, I think that's awesome.
I can see
How many,
selfies with that too.
Pardon me?
I said I can see a lot of selfies with that. I have kids at Arrowhead as well, and they do the woods and the other stuff. And I like the idea of it, but again, with what Rick said and everyone else, it'd be nice to get everyone else's opinion, but I really do I like the idea. This is
what's your,
exciting.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What's your thoughts of how many different ones you plan, or have you had strategically, like the Ice Age Trailer had some ideas of?
Our goal is 8 to 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
We really don't know, because we don't know, we gotta find locations, and I think if we came and went to the park board, I think they would say, yeah, not a problem, depending on what it is. Obviously tastefully done, but yeah, there's a lot of spots that we could do, but we wanna do it right. You wanna be tactful or tasteful on it and do it right, so.
And then I had something else I want to bring up on it, just a separate note. Over on the scale sheet, where it's the guy standing next to it on the slideshow, you can see that it's going to be about 15 feet long, 16 feet long. And the issue of space kept getting brought up, and like availability of space to take a photo. And on all the site slides, we have a red line demonstrating the actual space available. So you can see on site 1, there's 25 feet of space. That's not just like long, that's the actual length of the curve we would be working on. And I also want to just clarify for it. I know it said earlier that the letters would be curved. That's something we were considering, but I think we were having more of an idea of just staggering them in a curved manner. So it would just be like that,
Just pitched.
Yeah, it would be that. And then, yeah, I mean, you can just see red line there's roughly 40 feet to work with, and then on site 2, I think it was also about 25 feet, yeah. So, and what we also did for you guys, because we knew that we figured that space to take a photo would obviously be a concern due to busy intersections. Matt went out and he did photo taking distances, and he just took his phone and put it to different settings to the best visibility to measure out kind of what space you could expect to work with to get a photo. And you can see at 14 feet, just on a one-time zoom, you can get a picture of that. You'd be able to get a picture of this whole thing, which is obviously a lot less than what we're working with. And obviously with the capabilities of smartphones today, where we can kind of zoom to 0.5 and just get I can get this whole wall on my phone from standing right here. It just opens up possibility of space a lot more. Just thought I'd jump in and point that out.
Dave, what about the Rotary that have their bricks and all that and their
That's what I mentioned.
claim on the corner?
That's what I mentioned about Site 2, because the Rotary did donate that wall, and
Yeah.
they have their symbol on the sidewalk there.
Yes.
But I was leaning towards Site 1, but I thought, why wouldn't we put a pedestal behind the bushes that are there and raise these, and then it'll give you some more clearance? I have a couple questions. So a couple of you are graduating. Who's to say that this project won't die once you graduate? And then the second one is, how do we feel that we're going to illuminate this? Because obviously we need to run power to this location as well, right? So that's a couple questions. And I do think you kids did a phenomenal job. This whole presentation is phenomenal. Nice work.
So there's
We're working with Anthony Christian and Jeff Luchswager from Arrowhead, and we actually signed a partnership with them, I believe a 5-year partnership with them. It's kind of a donation to their program. All the money goes towards the students in the form of scholarships, but the purpose of us doing that was to develop this long-term relationship with them. So they want the senior class to manufacture it just because they came up with it and, just as a nod to the class. But we've been assured by Arrowhead that, you know, they have the capabilities with every incoming year to continue to design and manufacture these projects. As far as the lighting goes, we thought solar maybe. Solar lighting might be a good idea. And I understand that, you know, sometimes we have solar panels on our commercial building and they don't always work, but they work most of the time. So we were thinking solar might be the best opportunity, unless there's power readily available there. And also just a note about Site 1, we also spoke to Barron about it. And I think that's village-owned property.
That's
but,
correct.
But we
Village
spoke
owns
to
it.
them about it potentially being there as well, so.
Did you take any of this to our, to Scott Hussinger?
Not yet. This is our first,
Okay.
we just kind of wanted to feel the temperature in the room, gauge the temperature in the room and see.
Because lighting has to be off by 10 at night, right? That's what we're telling
Well,
everybody with
it
signs.
depends if it's not gonna be bright lights, I'm assuming. All of this is just to present a glow to this project,
Okay.
correct?
There's like one other stainless steel statue that kind of gives you right there. It kind of gives you like a feel for it. That was just, I was on a trip over winter break in Colorado. I just thought that was a cool example of what it could look like.
But there's no houses really
No.
by any of those, is there? Yeah, they're all businesses. yeah.
Correct, correct.
The cool thing about their manufacturing and this and design areas, so you think of a scholarship, so we donated, everybody thinks that that's going to go to a college, a tech school, whatever. That's not true in their case. So if you leave and you get a scholarship, you can buy tools. I'm going to be a framer for houses. They can buy tools with this money. It's just not just for education like to colleges or trade schools, etc. When they told me that, you know, every time I talk to them, I get more and more invested in it because it's really a cool thing that I had no idea. You know, my industrial arts.
These Arrowhead students are unbelievably
They-
well connected. I mean, they know a lot of people. They know a lot. So I'm sure you guys have something with lighting that I don't even know about, but they are extremely well connected and resourceful. So
Anything else you want to present?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much.
Is there
Great
anything
job,
that
great
we
job.
should,
Yeah, excellent,
anything you would like us to work
excellent
on
presentation.
prior to the next board meeting that we could improve upon to get approval? Any
Well,
any
you've
more
got,
details?
I
that
mean,
you would like?
the measurements, and the one with the person standing there is a real nice one to have. I mean, that really stood out and helped us kind of figure it out.
Okay.
But I think we'll have to work on it and have staff look at it more, and maybe next meeting, or what board? Architectural, yeah, it has to go to architectural.
Yep.
Yeah, architectural.
Architectural first and then,
Yeah, and then come back, yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate your
Great
time.
job, great job.
Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item was referred from the December 5th Park and Rec Board meeting. It is consideration of second reading with possible waiving of the third reading of Bill for Ordinance number 01-08-2024, repealing prior, do I have to read all of this? Repealing prior resolutions 1-25-2016-01 and 11-27-2017-01, and creating Ordinance 70-31 of the Village of Hartland, don't put that in the notes, Village of Hartland Code of Ordinances with respect to the Park and Rec Board by establishing a subcommittee of same. Dave?
So if you recall, last meeting, we brought this up. What we want to do is dissolve the Ice Age Trail Committee and the Ecos Environmental Corridor Committee, and we want to make an ad hoc committee, which is a non-formal committee, and what we want them to do is come up with their ideas, not in a formal meeting where they have to have an agenda. This way it'll leave administration staff out of it to create an agenda. Then we have to have somebody take the minutes, and then we have to post the minutes.
Or if that's easier.
So what we're trying to do is let them have their ideas, not at a formalized meeting, and then if they have something that they want to do in a Village of Hartland property, whether it's the parks or Ice Age Trail or anything, they will be a line item on the park board. They will be part of the agenda. They will contact Sarah or I, and then we will put them on the park board agenda and as a line item. So it's like I stated last time, it's not like we don't like what they're doing. We actually love the Ice Age Committee has a bunch of walks coming up, which are good turnouts. The Ecos Committee, along with Kiwanis, cleaned up the riverbank in Centennial Park. They
Awesome.
they do great work. So it's not like we're trying to dissolve them. We just don't think it needs to be a formalized meeting with staff because we're paying staff overtime to attend these meetings. And like I stated, the creating of the agenda and the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
So,
We need a motion if we want to.
right, I was gonna make a motion to waive the third reading.
To approve
To-
and waive the third reading.
Right, to approve and waive the third meeting and adopt ordinance 0108/2024, repealing the previous ones, and establishing the subcommittee of the same.
Second. All right. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries. Okay, this is an item referred from the January 15th, 2024 Plan Commission. Consideration of a motion to approve plans for an addition of an attached garage and storage area on St. Charles Congregation property at 313 Circle Drive. Is there anyone on Zoom for this?
So Brian Whitman.
Yes.
Hi, Brian.
Hi. My name is Brian Whitman. I'm the architect who put the presentation together.
Okay, if you want to maybe go over it a little bit with the board?
Sure. They're looking to add an attached garage for storage purposes and to park a few cars and equipment. So we're putting it in an area right now that has the dumpster area. It's in a little recess in the elevation on the street there. And it is a 4-car garage plus a little storage area. The desire was to move the dumpster enclosure into the front setback. That was denied. So now we're just coming back. The theory is going to be to put the garbage inside the garage and move it out when it's being picked up. They're checking into that operationally to make sure that it will work. But they approved the garage as designed without the dumpster enclosure, so that's not part of the approval. And if we're gonna adjust the garage to do something, if they wanna put the garbage inside the garage, and we might have to make it bigger to accommodate that, we'll be back to the board to do that. But for now, we're just want approval of the garage as designed and approved at the previous meeting. The materials all match the existing building. The height matches the existing building. And is that a good enough explanation?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So has the planning commission recommended this?
The garage, yes, like you said, the garbage enclosure or dumpster area was no. So it was approved, and I believe it was, the lights would be cut off at 10 PM, correct?
Correct.
But otherwise, yeah, everything was okay with the garage and the materials.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the plans for the addition of an attached garage storage area on St. Charles Congregation property 313 Circle Drive.
It's been, you got a second on that? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I would like to ask Brian, I believe it's 15 feet from the curb up the driveway there that Hartland owns. So from the curb up 15 feet, where does all of that start? It doesn't have it on the drawing.
I'm not sure I follow. I'll look at my drawing.
Because you're going to also be removing 2 trees, is that correct?
Correct.
Ben, can you go to the next slide? That's not the right one. That's the wrong one, too. Keep going.
The aerial shots are from another dumpster within the village, just to give an
Right there.
example.
Go back. There you go. Thank you. I just want to make sure there's nothing that is in the right of way.
No, so where the setback is 30 feet to any built, any part of the building, so we're beyond that.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay, all those in favor of, all those in favor of approving the plans for the addition of an attached garage only, that was your motion, right? Yes. At St. Charles at 313 Circle Drive, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep, have a nice night.
Okay. We're just zipping right along. The next item is consideration of a motion to approve renovation plans for Empower Movement 123 Lawn Street. Is anyone on Zoom for that?
So I do know a little bit about this. This 123 Lawn Street is coming, went to the ARC Board. ARC Board was in favor of it. The renovation, the majority of the renovation is a facade for the front and back. They're gonna add parking to the front of the building. They're gonna add a ADA ramp to the rear of the building. And that's really the extent of their construction on this property.
Dave, did he do that test that he was talking about doing for that vent that was bent over? He was going to check on that.
Yeah, they were gonna look into that. They said they'll get back to our building inspector when they find out, but they're 90% sure that's for the roof drains.
Right.
It's
Well,
a vent for the roof drains.
I know in the past, typically, they need to be here. Otherwise, we've been tabling it to the next meeting. I don't know, what do you all want to do?
I would suggest we table it to the next meeting so we can have somebody that can share more details on this.
Need a motion for
Make a motion to table the renovation plans for Empower Movement at 123 Lawn Street.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries. Okay, other items for consideration. Discussion and consideration of adjustment to fire department ambulance service fees. Chief?
Hey, good evening. It's been 2 years. We had been trying to do a yearly look back on our fees. We called our billing company last year, and they were in the middle of a Medicare, Medicaid thing, so they never got back to us. So we asked them this year, and they sent us over comparables to the departments that they take care of. We're extremely low on our fees in that, so their suggestions were on the far end, the recommended rates. If you have anything you want me to change, just say so, and we can discuss them each piece by piece, or however you want to do it.
Are we able to see that chart on our screen? Yes, that.
Do you have it in your packet?
I don't have the whole packet printed out. I'm just
You wanna
looking to
look-
see if we can get it
You want to look at it?
brought up on the screen. One question I had is, in the past, it showed a different cost for residents versus non-residents, and I see that that's even now versus $100 less for residents as it has been?
Yeah, and that's, again, that's completely up to you. I know last time we did the same thing. They gave us the suggested rates, and then we changed them to reflect a higher price for non-residents. So, yeah, if that's the way you want to go, absolutely, just let me know, and I will send it back to them with those increased rates. And so, completely up to you guys how you want to work that out, so.
Fair to have the difference between residents and non-residents, differential.
Chief, aren't the, isn't Hartland the 911 first call for fire or ambulance for the town, some areas in the town of Merton?
Correct.
And that's a contract we have, correct?
That is a contract we have, correct.
Okay. I don't know, I guess I would consider them the same.
Right, yeah, they get billed, that's in our contract, they get billed as a resident rate.
Okay,
So-
so who would the non-residents be?
So if, like, there's a car accident, and we take somebody in and they don't live in Heartland,
Or
that type
town
of
of
thing, or
Merton?
if they're out visiting somebody and they,
Oh.
get sick or something, and
Oh.
we have to take them in, so.
I'm glad you explained that, because I was a little confused with that.
Sure,
Thank
sure.
you. No, it's all 53029, even the town of Merton. Okay. So what did you want to do with that?
This was the first reading, right? Or,
No, it's up for approval.
oh,
Yeah, if you wanna just go through line by line, tell me if you wanna add something to non-residents and how much. I'll be happy to, like I said, alls I have to do is tell the company what we want, and then they'll send us back the contract with those numbers.
then the question is, do we reduce the resident rate by 100, or do we increase the non-resident rate by 100?
I don't think you want to reduce, because, I mean, if you look across the board here, by us raising it just the little we are, we're still at the low end of all the others.
Right.
Well, yeah, equal, but still on the
I
low
would
end.
raise the non-residents.
Raise the non-resident then?
I mean, yeah.
Line by line then?
Or if you wanna just do like $100 more for all the non-resident parts of it, hey, that's again, completely up to you. I'm happy to do whatever you guys suggest. Like I said, alls I have to do is send them back the numbers, and they'll put that into service then.
When I look across here for non-residents, everybody's 1,400, we're 1,200, so, we're gonna protect our own residents, why not just make non-residents 1,400?
Well, what about just putting it up, what about just making it $100 more on each except for the mileage? I don't think you want to add the 100 on that one.
Right. So then, if we make a motion to approve the adjustment to fire department ambulance service fees with making the change of adding $100 onto the non-resident fees except for mileage, that's the motion I would like to make.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the Hartland Fire Department rate survey with an increase for non-resident rates of $100 each minus the mileage. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries. Okay. Next item, consideration of a memorandum of understanding regarding the NIBIN Enforcement Support System, NES, and authorization of Chief Misko to sign on behalf of the village. Chief?
Good evening. So everyone should have a copy of the Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU. This is through the ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, a part of the federal government. And us, this memorandum would be with this NIBIN system, or NES, is actually, the NIBIN system is basically shell casings from a handgun. It's like a fingerprint to the exact gun that shot that shell casing. So if we were to retrieve shell casings from a scene, we can send them in and they can positively match that with a particular firearm. The other thing is, while these things are getting analyzed from Milwaukee Police Department has one, and then this most recent additions through the Drug Enforcement Administration here in Milwaukee, where several of the suburbs use their machine because Milwaukee's has been overwhelmed and we aren't able to get suburban analytics done because they're always using it for their own crime that's happening within their community. But you can actually, not just from nearby neighbors, but across the country, match a gun to particular crimes and then obviously build a case that way. We have access to this system without this memorandum of understanding. What this memorandum of understanding does is it allows us actual electronic access for just more efficiency in the process. So we can actually log in, internet-based program, and actually see results real time and not just wait for either snail mail or someone to call us with what they actually have as far as the results. The federal government does ask that the chief law enforcement executive sign the agreement, which is outside the norm for our MOUs. Usually that's signed by the village president, but with your approval and giving me that authorization, I would sign the form and we can reflect that in the minutes that it was still approved by the village board.
I'm good. I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding regarding the Nibbin Enforcement Support System, NES, and authorize Chief Misko to sign on behalf of the village.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the memorandum of understanding and also to allow Chief Misko to sign on behalf of the village. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that carries. Next, consideration of memorandum of understanding regarding the E-Trace internet-based firearm tracing application and authorization of Chief Misko to sign on behalf of the village.
Thank you. So this is very similar to the last agreement we did, just a little bit different program through the ATF. This is called E-Trace. This actually traces where firearms have been sold through different federal firearm licenses. So we can kind of trace where the gun started from origin to who it's been through to determine that in a crime. We typically use that in any gun-related crime. This is something we've had access to similar to the last agreement. It's just we have to go through an ATF agent to actually get that information. This MOU, similar to the last one, would allow us through the internet to develop our own login credentials and do this real time on our own. So although we have access to it currently, this just brings efficiency to that process. I failed to mention in the last MOU, but it also applies for this one and the last one, there are no costs for this. And it's also similar in the fact that they're asking the chief law enforcement executive to sign the agreement. So I'd ask the board, again, for approval to sign that agreement on behalf of the village outside our normal procedure with the village president signing that agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding regarding the E-Trace internet-based firearm tracing application and providing authorization for Chief Misko to sign on behalf of the village.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? The motion is consideration of memorandum of understanding regarding the E-Trace internet-based firearm tracing application and authorization of Chief Misko to sign on behalf of the village. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Okay. Next item, consideration of first reading of Bill for an Ordinance 01-22-2024, an ordinance to amend Chapter 30 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to municipal court.
So that's me again. This is just our updating our court agreement. The reason for this update is we added the city of Delafield to the Lake Country Municipal Court. So they asked our administrative committee if they can join the court. The administrative committee approved that. Part of the process to make that official is every community that participates within the Lake Country Municipal Court has to update their ordinance, just basically adding the city of Delafield as one of the partnering agencies. And then what you'll see is as we progress through this ordinance, we'll bring what's called a successor agreement. That's per the state statute. That will also get updated once the ordinance is at the point where we're looking for consideration on it.
Quick question, where does somebody go that isn't, like Delafield, where were they going before they came on here?
In-house, so they actually ran their own internal court system.
Oh.
Their judge recently passed away. They had
Okay.
a long time, several decades long judge. He passed away. It sounds like no one else was looking to do it. And it actually is saving them considerable amount of money And then even, I would say, more time, because now you're not actually primarily running the court. So for us, it's such an efficiency in the sense that we do it all at that Lake Country Court. We have their own security there that gets paid for through that citation cost, and then all of the court is funded through the court cost portion of every citation that's written. The Village of Hartland, or now so in this case the City of Delafield, none of their actual budgetary dollars go towards that court. It's all funded through the user fee as part of the citation. So a pretty simple update, just allowing that City of Delafield to be one of the members.
Okay, okay, well, that's the first reading. Moving on, consideration of first reading of Bill for Ordinance 01-22-2024-01, an ordinance amending Section 6-37 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to operator's license.
So a Wisconsin state statute does allow for the governing municipal body to enact an ordinance authorizing the clerk to issue operator's licenses. There's a proposed amendment to our code or ordinance that would allow me to issue the operator license after a background check has been completed and indicates no arrest or conviction for any alcohol or drug-related offenses. This would streamline the process. Right now, it does sometimes, an application will sit for a few weeks, and there's more staff time in putting it on the agenda and then issuing it. I have reviewed this with Chief Misko, and he is in agreement with it. He does already, when we send down a bartender application for a background check by his department, he reviews them and signs off on them. So we're just looking to streamline that process. If it's something that he is in approval of, that we could just go ahead and issue it and not hold on to all of those.
Sounds like a good idea.
I like the idea a lot.
This basically takes the easy ones off your plate and just keeps the hard ones for you guys.
Seems to make sense totally. I know it's the first reading, but can we,
So this would go on for a second reading at the next meeting, and at that time, the third reading could be waived.
okay.
Some don't like it when we waive too many. Okay. All right, the next item is schedule public hearing for the February 12th of 2024 for an ordinance amending Ordinance 50-232 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to impact fees.
So if you recall, at the last meeting, we did set a public hearing for this evening's meeting. However, in reviewing the type of public hearing notice that is required, we needed 20 days' notice, and we only had 2 weeks. So it did not fit that criteria, so we are looking to put this on the next agenda of February 12th, which does allow for that 20 days public notice to be published.
Do we need a motion?
So we do, need to schedule that public hearing.
I'll make a motion to move the public hearing to February 12th, 2024 for an ordinance amending Ordinance 50-232 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to impact fees.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That gets rescheduled. Okay. Announcements.
I'll be quick. Obviously, we hired Taylor Weiss tonight, so that fills one of our vacancies. Again, she joins us with over 5 years of law enforcement experience in the area, so we're very hopeful she'll be able to be accelerated through our field training process and count towards our staffing in short order. That leaves us with one vacancy that we still have to fill. We're doing our ongoing recruitment till the end of the month. Any applications, we'd look to go through our process, which would entail a written test, a police department staff interview, and then ultimately finish with our PFC interview for consideration. So hopefully no later than that second Tuesday in February, we'll be able to fill that last and final vacant position for the time being.
All right, both full-timers started this week, so Griffin's been around a while, so he knows pretty much all of our procedures and stuff. Bryan, being with the town or Village of Merton, so he's got a little bit to do to work on learning streets and that, so we have him working, he works 4 10-hour days. Griffin with school is going to be probably working some weekend shifts just to make up for his 40-hour time. But we got them on board and going, and we'll keep moving forward.
As I'm sure many of you guys will know, we had a lot of snow this last weekend. Starting off Friday, we had guys in at 5:30 approximately to 9:30 p.m. Out plowing and stuff like that. It's a storm that we haven't seen one of that intensity in quite some time. Those guys came back in 3 a.m. the next morning to help clean up. So I want to give a shout out to all of our guys in the plow trucks out there this last snowstorm. Along with that, it was a wet, heavy snow. We had a lot of tree branches come down, a lot of paths that were closed up. We had power outages throughout the village, lift stations and well houses and stuff like that. So a very big group effort by most of our guys. We also have the ice skating rink open as well. We're finally getting some use out of that, so it's good to see that we're finally able to ice skate. Hopefully this weather doesn't put too much of a damper on it, but we'll see what the weather brings us. Thank you.
Just a big thank you to DPW, because I know you guys worked countless hours through that heavy storm. So, and I had a little comparison. I was down in Huntley, Illinois, the village of Huntley, and they didn't do half as good of a job as what you guys do in Hartland. I mean, they had half of a lane completely closed a week after the storm. It's like, what's going on here? But kudos to everything you guys did.
Thank you.
You guys did a great job,
Thanks.
as usual.
That will entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second?
On behalf of Adam.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're done. Thank you.